Good morning. This is Barry Wolfe with the Wolfe Retail Group of Marcus and Millichap. I just did something that very few millennials ever do. I went to the bank. Fortunately, I made a deposit and not a withdrawal. But it's interesting. Bank branches are obviously in a net negative as far as branch locations on the real estate sector side. And in fact, we rarely recommend bank investments for our clients, particularly those 1031 exchanges or more passive investors. The one difference or the one exception for that, or an exception for that, is certainly for developers. Banks are going to continue to be probably the next big thing on the development side. If you think about it, well, I'm standing at the intersection of two major streets, and banks do tend to be in great locations from a real estate standpoint. So while this location where I'm standing in 5-10 years will very likely or very possibly not be a BB&T location, it will almost certainly be a very well located retail tenant of some sort. We tend to have seen banks retrofitted, restaurants, all sorts of other uses, and I think that's going to continue. So I think while investors or developers looking at banks as an investment or an alternative play, they may not be looking so much as what are the deposits. They're probably going to be looking at what is the replaceable rent and what is the rent per foot currently being paid by that particular bank. One thing to keep in mind when you are looking at a bank site as a potential redevelopment is the vault. Vaults can be very, very costly to remove, but I actually have seen them retrofitted and reused in some great uses. Private dining areas that can be really pretty cool, a wine room. So there are a lot of options, a lot of ways that can use the vault, but that's certainly something that as a developer you really have to keep in mind as you're kind of considering your plans and what the alternative uses might be. So just something to think about as bank branches. So while you're reading all of the negative news as it relates to banks and how they are in a net negative for locations, there's actually a lot of really great positives and reuses for bank branches. And I think that's what we're going to see, similar to gas station sites with mom and pop gas retailers of 20, 30 years ago. Now those are some great retail locations. I think that's what we're going to see for bank branches going forward. So have a great weekend, a great week, and talk to you soon. I can be reached anytime if I can maybe help, or private message me as well anytime.